Morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the Two Dumb Yinzers Live. This is episode 282. I see Mike doing the cabbage patch over there this morning. I don't know what that dance, that thing you did the thing you did yesterday. It wasn't a dance, but it was like that arm thing. What was that called?
What was I doing? Was I doing this?
No, you kind of did that little.
Oh, it's dabbing.
Oh God,
dabbing.
That hasn't happened since 2015.
Derpy, I'm old. I'm allowed to do stuff that's old. Okay.
You know, it's funny you say that. It's like, that hasn't happened since 2015. Like that was forever ago. I was fishing around on YouTube yesterday. I watched this video. It's one of those reaction videos.
Mhm.
These two kids, they were watching Beavis and Butthead for the first time.
Yeah.
And,
no.
Yeah. And the one boy, the kid said to the other one, he's like, how old is this? This is really funny. And the other kid, I don't know, he could have been 16. He was like, I don't know, 10 years ago it probably came out. So I looked at it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I looked at it, came out in 1993, which is 30 years ago. So I did. I just kind of, it was funny. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the whole reaction. So I wrote to them and I said, these guys did come out in 93. However, the guy that writes, that makes the show, he's working on more now. A new season's actually coming out on the 20th of this month. And it was cool. It was cool, like I said, to see younger kids
respond and discovering the stuff that brought us joy at that age.
The best joy, believe me.
Man.
I
saw a video on British high schoolers or like students react to biscuits and gravy.
Derpy, I saw that and I loved it because everything, I know exactly what you're talking about. I watched the same video, and there's a bunch of foods actually, not just the biscuits and gravy. I don't know if you saw them as well. However, they're presenting these British kids. I mean, they're probably early high school kids, and they just kept turning their nose up. They're like, oh my God, biscuits. This isn't even a biscuit. A biscuit is like a little cracker.
Yeah, biscuit to them is a cookie.
Yeah, it's a cookie.
Yeah, and they're probably thinking, what are they doing to cookies in America?
And gravy, just isn't normal gravy, blah, blah, blah. So they're going on, and they're giving it the face, they're giving it the eye. And when they tried it, they all loved it. They just couldn't believe the taste.
Because it just like when you look at it, it does not look appealing.
No, it looks like throw up on a plate.
It does.
It does. It does.
It looks disgusting, but it tastes so good.
And it's been about a month since I saw that video, guys. But there was more. There was probably about 5 different things, and I don't recall what they are off the top of my head. The only reason I remember that is because Derpy brought it up. But there was like so many different things that they kept putting out, and these British kids were like, "Oh!" But as soon as they tried it, everything they liked, they liked every single thing.
Who are they to talk? I've seen some of their cuisine that they call
with their crumpets and shit.
Oh, don't be sleeping on no crumpets. Crumpets are good, but their breakfast that they have like sausages and baked beans on. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't want no crumpets. I don't even know what a crumpet is, but it doesn't sound.
Crumpet's like a sweet. It's a
sweet little crumpet.
Yeah, that's what I call you.
Your sweet little crumpet. Speaking of food, excuse me, Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut wins the first world burrito eating championship. This guy just don't stop.
Woo!
Joey Chestnut. He ate 14 burritos in 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah, which you would think, he usually eats like 60 some hot dogs in 12 minutes, and burritos are a lot more filling. He had 14 burritos in 10 minutes. This guy's amazing. He doesn't get enough credit in this country.
He's America's #1 athlete.
Yeah,
he is.
I love that Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, I think he might actually be our best athlete because he's going up against the best in the world at what they do, and he wins. When we send our best against the world, they choke. So I'm looking at you, the dude from Anaheim that got struck out. Who's that? Trout?
What happened?
Exactly, Mike.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, we choke. We choke in the big moments. This is why I always root for Canada.
His entire career.
This is why I always root for Canada when we play hockey.
And the thing about when he does the hot dogs, speaking of choke, he takes the hot dogs, bun and all, and he dips them in water.
Yeah.
All those people do that. It's disgusting.
I don't want to be
It's
involved
a good
in
routine to,
No, it's
I guess get
vomit
as many as you
everywhere.
can.
I want nothing to do with
See,
dipping
to
my
me,
hot dog. I mean, the bun too.
see, to me, that's like all those records right there at the hot dog eating competition are tainted because they dip them all in. They all dip them in water.
Yeah, don't dip them in
That's to
water.
me, that is cheating. That cheapens the sport.
I would be okay if they dipped it in like chili.
Yeah, you should have to eat.
Because
Yeah,
it's still part of the hot dog.
yeah,
It's still part of the cuisine, and then it also would give it a little bit of
yeah.
liquid or whatever.
Yeah, if you need
Something I don't
liquid,
know.
you drink it while you drink the water while you're eating. You don't dip it in. To me, that
Yeah.
cheapens the whole all those records.
Oh, I ain't taking nothing away from Joey Chestnut. He is my favorite.
I
Matter
used
of
to
fact,
like Kobayashi. Kobayashi was the man.
That's my favorite thing of 4th of July. Like I literally hate that day, that holiday.
Kobayashi was the man, Mike.
He was the man.
And then freaking Chestnut took over.
Chestnut came out of nowhere. It was a sad day, but also a proud day because USA,
Yeah.
USA.
But I would rather watch that than fireworks any day. That should be the new national thing that we do on 4th of July. Just all sit around and watch Joey Chestnut eat hot dogs all day.
Just move it from New York down to DC, right in the heart of the capital. We can do it on the steps of like the Lincoln Memorial or the Jefferson Memorial.
Yeah.
I'd
like
pay
it.
for that.
Everybody, we do have next week we have a lot of draft talk coming. We are only a few weeks away. I think less than 3 weeks right now. So next week, starting Monday, we are going to be heavy on the draft. So there you have that. A lot of draft talk, guys. With that being said, I'm going to go into. I don't want to do that. Let's start off with the Penguins because something big happened last night. Well, I kind of have it. I haven't mapped out in a way, and I don't want to go right into football just yet. So last night, big game, huge game. The Penguins played. They hosted the Minnesota Wild. Marc-Andre Fleury, the whole squad. They come to Pittsburgh to play the Penguins, and we did everything but count them out yesterday, and rightfully so because you just don't know which team you're going to get, and you have Fleury coming. These guys are hot over there. He's been the hottest goalie in the league. The Wild is playing good hockey. Pittsburgh was sitting at 38-30-10. We needed to win desperately. And the Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde or whichever one it was showed up last night, Mike. Whichever team that was that showed up was the one that we need to be a little bit more consistent with. This team blew the Wild out of the water 4-1. Letang scores, Rackle scores, Zucker scores, and even Jeff Carter scores. Mike, what kind of a night was this where even Jeff Carter pitches in?
Yes,
it was magic
it's
in the air.
It's nuts. I like when I saw that Jeff Carter scored a goal, I thought I died. Yeah, I thought the rapture was happening, the apocalypse, Ragnarok. Something was happening to where we were all going to die when Jeff Carter scored. It's nice of him to finally show up. He had those two goals in one game, like a month ago, and he thought he was the shit. And it's nice, he scored again to help out. It was nice to see though when I was going back through looking at all the stats, like the people who haven't been producing kind of stepped up last night.
Yeah,
it was nice. We keep saying that, like outside of the core and a handful of other supporting cast, the rest of the team has been dead weight. They've been a complete letdown. And they, Jeff Carter scored. People were chipping in, playing better hockey. It was nice to see.
It was a lot of fun, Mike. As I said, Letang, Raquel, Zucker, and Carter, they all scored. That was the 4 different goal scorers. Also, Mike, it should be noted, Letang scored his first goal against Marc-Andre Fleury last night. Now he joins Sid, who also has one, and Gino. Gino has 2. Gino has 2 goals against Marc-Andre Fleury. So the big 3, they have all scored goals against their former teammate.
I like it.
So here's what's going on, guys. Penguins, they moved to 39-30-10, 39-30-10 at the moment. Tomorrow, we travel to Detroit to play the Red Wings, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it happened as such as last night, you're keeping an eye on the other scores. Of course, you're keeping an eye to see what Florida's doing. You're keeping an eye to see what the Islanders are doing. I don't know what our record against Florida this year is, Mike, but I know that we got swept against the Islanders. So we're, not trying to tie them in points. We're trying to leapfrog them in points, but they both win. Both Florida and the Islanders won last night. So that don't make things any better. However, the win does make it better because now we're not 3 points back. We're still just 1 point back out of the wild card where both of these teams are sitting there with 89 points. The Penguins sitting there with 88. 3 games left. I'm sorry. We play Detroit tomorrow. That's at 1:00. We're in Detroit. And Florida on the Florida Panthers schedule, Mike, they have at Washington next. They play the Capitals next. And the Islanders play Philadelphia at home. So, if we could get a little help. The one I'm seeing from Florida that we might be able to get a little help on here is they have at Washington, home against Toronto, home against Carolina.
Yeah, those two definitely, like the Toronto Carolina games. Those are the two I'm targeting. That's where I'm looking for at least a loss to come out of one of the.
Yeah,
but I thought last night, Tampa Bay would pull out a win for us.
You're right. But
But
here you go. You're sitting there. You get Tampa Bay, you get at Washington. OV, they're not the same team they were, but this team, they could have a good game any night. Yeah. Toronto, Carolina, that's the team, like I said, Florida, as you were saying, is the team that I expect to lose a game, because winning against those 4 teams in a row, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. No matter how hot Florida is right now, because it looks like they're on a nice little roll. Even in those little rolls, you have a little hiccup, and that's all we need. The Penguins just need to play strong and hope for one of these other teams to lose. It sucks to be in this position, but that's what you needs to happen. And
absolutely,
the Capitals, even though they're out of it, you don't see Ovi quitting.
No,
I don't see. He's not gonna allow that team to quit. Like, as much as I hate Tom Wilson, he's not gonna go out there and quit.
All right.
So they're gonna give their best effort, and hopefully, my God, I can't believe I'm saying it. I am rooting for the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, man.
Tom Wilson, go out there, do your thing, do what you did to the Penguins all those years, and take some liberties. Don't hurt anyone. Just take some liberties.
I felt that there was a turn of the page, Mike. The last time we played Washington, and the fans cheered for Ovi.
Yeah,
there is this respect now that these gentlemen are getting older, and they're coming to the end of their career. I don't hate Washington as much as I used to. I think that I learned to respect them a little bit more than I used to. And that's the feel. They're not that good. We're not that good. We were the teams. We were winning Stanley Cups after Stanley Cups together, back and forth, one way or the other. So, and we had to always beat one another to get there. So I really find this new respect with Washington. It's kind of a cool thing, because a lot of times with rivals, you don't have that. Like Baltimore, you respect them as a football team, but at the end of the day, I still hate the Ravens. I don't necessarily hate the Capitals. And as you said, I have no problem rooting for them to beat Florida. And you know what? At this point in his career, I want to see Ovi do well.
Like, I still hate them, but I respect them. And that's how I am with the Ravens. I hate the Ravens, but I respect them.
Yeah.
That's how I am with the Ravens, at least, the older Ravens from back in the day. But like right now, like, I still hate the Capitals. I still want to see them lose. I love when they lose, but I respect them. I'm like, Ovi, I don't hate like I used to hate.
Yeah, I used to hate that guy.
I used to hate him. I'll say about like 6 years ago, I started to respect him. Once they won that cup, I was like, all right, he's not just someone who's going to score goals and collapse in the playoffs. All right, cool. But there's players on that team I hate, like Tom Wilson, and their whole culture I hate. But I respect Ovi at least. So,
what culture I hate? I was watching the Flyers play the other day, and they got that stupid tortellini. Chris Tortello, whatever his name is. Man, that culture there is there. If there was any way to turn it more into a Philadelphia Flyers culture, it was adding that coach. He's one of the biggest assholes. He's always been one of the biggest assholes. And you stick him on a team of the biggest assholes. And that's a whole different story. I just don't like Philly. There's nothing about them I like. And at the end of the day, like I said, I can respect and root for the Washington Capitals. I'm going to have a hard time rooting for Philly against the Islanders, but hopefully we don't need to, Mike. As I said, the Florida Panthers have to beat, as they did, Toronto last night, Washington on the road. I'm sorry, not Toronto last night, Tampa Bay last night, Washington on the road, Toronto, and then Carolina. I don't think they're going to win all 4 of those games in a row. I think that's going to give us a chance. However, we have to be a little bit more consistent, at least for 3 games. I'm not talking you haven't done it all year. You haven't been this consistent team, but if you could at least pull these last 3 games together. Islanders, I'm not really too like I said, they have Philly, which Islanders could definitely beat Philadelphia. We talked about Washington, and then Montreal, and then as I said, the Islanders did beat us straight up. They swept us this season, so we don't want to run into that tiebreaker. So I'm kind of hanging on the fact that Florida can't beat those 4 teams in a row to finish out the season. But on the other hand, we have to find a way to beat Detroit on the road, Chicago at home, and then go over to Central Ohio and beat Columbus. We should be able to do that. We should, in theory, be able to do that. But if that happens, I'll be surprised, because that's just been the way the year this has been.
Yeah, because the Islanders right now, the Islanders have the easiest path to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you're saying, the Montreal and the Flyers, those should be 2 easy wins for them. And like this Florida team, man, they've won 5 in a row, but they did just come off a 4-game losing streak. So hopefully, they're kind of streaky like the Penguins. I'm going back through. I'm looking. They had that win streak, then a losing streak, then a win streak. They lost a win streak, a loss. One loss, and they're alternating wins and losses. So hopefully, that what plagued the Penguins can plague them late in the season. Alternating win losses, fall into a little rut here at the end. I just hope the Penguins, this wasn't their last hurrah. This game,
you know what I mean, and it was
they
Fleury,
came out, and
it was almost
emotions were high.
If that be the case, I totally agree with what you're saying, because I could see that happening. I could see that happening with these guys. You bring it all to the surface for this game with Fleury and the Wild, and you go out and you really play well. You win. Yari, Mike, I seen a couple saves by Yari where even the announcer says, "Wow, was that Marc-Andre Fleury or was that Tristan Yari over there?" He made some brilliant saves last night. I was really impressed, and everyone's excited. And they just, like I said, three games. You just have to win them all. Outperform Florida.
They have to win them all, and if they lose, it has to be an overtime loss. They have to gain points, and then even then that's tough. Because right now we're just a point behind everyone, so we have to keep winning. These guys have to lose. Like these 2 teams, the Panthers and the Islanders have to lose in regulation. We can't let them get a loser point.
Right.
And that's key right there. If they get a loser point, that can be just enough, because they're a point ahead of us. That breaks down into all the tiebreakers. You don't want that. You don't want that. We need to win in every game in regulation. We need one of them to lose in regulation, then we'll be good. 2 teams need to lose 1 game. Just one. What are the odds? What are the odds all 3 teams win out down the stretch? That would be mind.
Florida's going to lose. As I said,
I feel like it's going to be a Dolphins-Jets situation.
Well, I really feel that if Florida is going to own this and beat those 4 teams in a row, Tampa Bay, at Washington, Toronto, Carolina, you know what, at the end of the day, if they do that, if they pull that off, and let's say we win the 3 as well, the last 3 going into the end of the season, they probably deserve it, because you know what, that's tough. You're going to go out there and beat those 4 teams to get in. That's just something that we haven't been able to do. We haven't been able to go out there and win those games that we need to win. Last night being, one of the first times that we actually said, Mike, this is a must win. They have to go out and win, and they actually went out and won. So if we could do it, fantastic. But as I said, if Florida could pull it off on their end with 4 in a row straight against those 4 teams, maybe they just deserve it more than we do.
They do, yeah. Because if you can win on that stretch down there, that's impressive. Tip of the hat to you, because that is, they have the harder schedule than we do.
Absolutely. What's Chicago looking like? Where are they at in the
they're looking terrible. Chicago.
Are they?
Chicago's terrible. We
like that. We like terrible Chicago.
They're 25-47 at 6.
What's Detroit?
Detroit is, oh man, I just passed them up too, because I just looked at them. 35-33 and 10.
Okay, so I mean, these are winnable games. It isn't like but on the other hand, the Wild should have been a game that we lost in 30.
Yeah, I know.
Record. So the odds are against us, being that these teams don't have great records.
Yeah, and we have, so far we split the season series with the Devils. We lost game 1 5-4. Yeah, game 1 we lost 5-4 in overtime. Then we won game 2 7-4. So this is a toss up either way.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the stats. Just going on goals for, goals against, it's almost even for Penguins in Detroit. It is insane how similar these 2 teams are according to the stat line.
Well, we'll know tomorrow. 3:30, 4 o'clock comes around. We will have an idea, a little bit better of an idea what's going on, because if we lose, it's going to be shit. We're going to have to figure out a way to hope that a bunch of things happen in our favor. We win tomorrow, we're going to be, in decent shape and basically just sitting back waiting for Washington in Florida to play, and then Philadelphia and the Islanders, see what they do, and then we'll go from there. But tomorrow, 1:00, big game. This game is huge for the Penguins. It's a must-win. Playoff start yesterday, basically.
Yeah. That's easy, or exactly what happened. They have to play these games as their playoff games, and God, that's scary, because the way we've played in the playoffs recently, you kind of don't want them to play like they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
But if they can keep this going the way they played this game, they're going to make the playoffs. But I'm worried. I'm worried that they shot their load. This was their last hurrah. They all their energy was spent into this. Or this could be the one that turns it around. Like, hey guys, we know how to play. We can play this way and win.
Yeah, it's a big if, Mike. I mean, as we said, we've done this many of times this season. Many of times we sat here and said this team has to win tonight. They have to win tonight, and they didn't win tonight. Now they're in that position to where, you know what, you have your hands tied, and you're just watching everything go on around you and hoping for the best. And law of average, it doesn't work out that way all the time, but we could hope for the best. As you said, we could just win. Starts tomorrow, 1:00 at Detroit.
Ooh, hold on, guys. Hold on. Something happened.
What happened, Mike?
Something happened to the live stream. It stopped live streaming.
Oh.
But that's okay. We'll just throw this up. It's still recording.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're still recording. It's just, I don't know what
I thought the Steelers actually did something.
And then you just go up and add the rest afterwards.
Yeah, I'll just add the whole thing up. Yeah, I'll end up taking the live stream down. I don't know what happened there. Sorry for everyone in the live stream. I don't know what happened.
Mike, also we have the Penguins at the end of the rope. We have today, I'm sorry, in just a few hours, we have the beginning of a new road just right across town. Pittsburgh Pirates, 4-2. They're coming home for their home opener, Mike, against the Chicago White Sox, who are sitting at 3-4. We're one game. The Pirates are one game behind the Brewers in the Central, and then over on the other side, the 3-4 White Sox are just 2 games behind. The first place team up there is the Cleveland Guardians, and this team is actually in third place in that division, 2 games behind them. But today, Mike, the opener is 4-12. It's a blackout. Kutch and AJ Burnett, they decided to say, hey, you know what? This game is big. Let's get everybody fired up. Let's get the crowd going. Let's make it a blackout. So this is what they're going to do, Mike. They're going to go out. The fans are going to have all their black on. They're going to try to create that atmosphere and get out there and just try to beat these Sox and start 5-2 and may possibly be in first place by the end of this day, just depending on what Milwaukee does. They play today at 4:12, and then they got games 2 and 3 on Saturday and Sunday. Next week they got the Astros coming to town. But here we go, Mike. We're home opener, Pittsburgh Pirates. It's here. And I know this isn't something that everyone waits for like it is the Steelers. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you're looking at what these guys did, and I'm going to read their starting lineup here in a few minutes, there's a bit of excitement in the air, Mike, in Pittsburgh about this team.
There is. I think it may be misplaced, but there is excitement.
I mean, we don't know that yet. The team is, like I said, they're playing well.
It's early. It's very early.
It's like the 6th or 7th game of the year.
Hey.
Derby,
are we ever this close to first place after 6 games? No, so just leave me alone.
No.
Let us have.
That's why you play 162, though.
You play 162 because baseball's boring and have to squeeze enough action into the season. They figure after 162 games, someone will do something exciting.
All right, so this is a good moment, guys. We're talking good here. This is positive.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. It's positive. The Buccos are in what first
without
place?
sarcasm. We're doing positive. So
best team in Pittsburgh
if any of us
right
can
now.
Pull that off, we'll go ahead and do that.
We're second in the Central. We are the Buccos are the best team in Pittsburgh right now.
You know what? They are the best team in Pittsburgh. They're playing the
greatest franchise in the National League.
Now. Of course, AJ Burnett, Russell Martin is in the house tonight. You got the first pitch coming out by AJ, Batman. Everybody's going to be excited to see him back. This is also Kutch's first game back at PNC Park as a Pirate since 2017. So I think there's a lot of things going on here, guys. I think almost the same, with the Penguins. There's an atmosphere. The team is going to be The fans are going to be rallying around this team. I don't know what kind of crowd you're going to get at 4:00 in the afternoon in Pittsburgh on a Friday. I mean, people are still walking out of with their lunch boxes from work and things like that. But I think for the people that are going to go down there, they're going to make it fun. It's going to be interesting. And as I said, Mike, this hodgepodge of nothingness who just swept the Boston Red Sox, who, last year when the hodgepodge of nothingness, that quote came into existence.
Yes.
I say build off of this, build off of that sweep. This team, last year we were nothing. We were 2 years in a row. We had 100 losses. This Dennis Eckersley comes to town in the Boston series last year, says this is nothing. It's a hodgepodge of nothingness, which I agreed.
He was 100%.
Right. He was right.
But what have I said though?
You come off, you win that series. You not only win that series, you sweep that series. You go up to Boston. These people that coined you the hodgepodge of nothingness. You have to build off of that, and you have to carry these wins over into the next series, and carry the series wins over to the next series. This team, if you watch, there's going to be something that you'll notice different, and it's something that I noticed last time. And I don't even know if I want to get into this, but everybody looks like they're into it. And I know you say it's early, it's 6 games, but I can recall many times in my life, to be in this far in the season, and the guys just kind of sitting there in the dugout, just, eating their fucking seeds and talking and this and that. But you see all the guys, they're all standing up on the ledge. They're cheering for their teammates. There's something about this team. Like, I think they want to win. I think they want to win. Whether they're going to win, whether they're going to win enough, I don't know. That's still yet to be determined. But I have a feeling like there's something about this team, and bringing Kutch back, and throwing a couple veterans in the lineup, and getting O'Neal Cruz into his second year. You're feeling there's a feel for this team, and I feel that they want to win. Today it's going to come down to your boy Mike, the dude. It's the only guy in baseball that's older than all of us put together. Rich Hill is on the mound. He did lose the game. I don't know if he got the loss, but I know in the first series against the Reds, we took a loss in the game that he pitched. But as I said, let's see what he could do. We got veteran leadership. It's a different mentality this year. There's an involvement. It's a feeling of involvement, a feeling that everybody is kind of supporting one another. Whereas in the past, like in baseball, a lot of times you just look in the dugout and it's just, just guys sitting there and not much enthusiasm into what's going on, which I guess is pro baseball. But on the other hand, a little encouragement goes a long way sometime. If you're out, you get a double and everyone's jumping up and they're giving you signs and, high-fiving each other, that people can build off of that. People could build off of that energy. The crowd could build off it and then give it right back to the players. Again, we have a long way to go. What do we got? 156 more games?
Yeah.
I totally take note. I totally take note of that. But I think that this team will be better than it's been the past 2 years. I don't think that's a difficult thing to do. I think that we could go out.
What have I said, though? What have I said about the Pirates?
What have you said about the Pirates?
You figure out the pitching, you probably could slide into a wild card spot.
I agree. I think, and you know what, the starting pitching hasn't been bad with the exception of those 2 games in the Red Series, which Rich Hill was one of them.
Yeah, he gave up 2 homers.
And I can't think of who the guy after him on the rotation is, but everybody else, as far as starting pitching, really carried their weight so far. Contreras, Mitch, these guys are really pulling it off. They're putting in good innings, and that's what you got to do as a starter. You got to get to that 6th, even the 7th inning if you want to continue to be a successful team. That's what successful teams do. So today at 4-1-2, 4-12, the game starts, guys. I want to get some predictions for today's game, at least today. Derpy, what do you think the Pirates are going to do in their home opener? It's the home opener, man.
Who's on the mound?
Rich Hill, and I'm not sure who's on the mound for Chicago.
Rich Hill and Lucas Giolito.
Like a Starbucks drink.
He does too, man.
I'm gonna go Pirates.
You like the Pirates in this one?
Yeah.
All right, Mike. You don't have to be optimistic anymore. Give me your honest feel. What did the Pirates do tonight?
This is a
toss-up. Today, I'm having a hard time with that. Today, 4-12.
This is a toss-up. God. I'm gonna go with the Buccos pulling out a victory here.
Now, I don't feel good about this because everybody's picking the Bucks, and that's not a good sign. I think when people go against them, they're a better underdog team. But you know what? I'm going to go Buccos as well. Derpy, do you want to tack a score onto that prediction?
I'm going to go 4-3.
4-3. 4-3
Walk-off
Pirates.
win.
I'm sorry?
Walk-off win for the Buccos.
Walk-off win. I like it. Boy, would that be exciting. Mike, about yourself, man. You want to give me a score?
Oh, it's going to be 8-7, and Kutch is going to hit the game-winning homer.
Gabe's 8-7. Kutch is going to hit the game winner. I'm saying 6-1 Pirates. We go out there, handle business. Let me read off this lineup to you real quick before we move forward. Leading off is O'Neal Cruz playing shortstop. Second, playing left field, Brian Reynolds. Third, at the DH spot, Andrew McCutchen. Fourth at first base, Carlos Santana. Third base, Hayes.
Brian.
That is
What's that?
That is a dominant five. That is a.
It's not bad, right?
Five right there.
Right. And then we're gonna go to the center fielder, which is Jack Sawinski. Then right fielder is Connor Joe. I don't know who this Connor Joe is. As a matter of fact, every time I watched, he didn't play. So Connor Joe is our right fielder. I'm sorry. G1 Bay, that guy that made that amazing catch on the Green Monster the other day.
Yep.
He's at second base. Jason DeLay, who's not Austin Hedges, is at catcher, which is good. And then Rich Hill is on the hill. So,
Rich Hill on the hill.
I think
I like that. Rich Hill is on the hill.
So, Cruz, Reynolds, Kutch, Santana, Hayes, Sawinski.
That is
and
those
then,
first five. That first five alone.
And then 7, 8, 9 is Connor Joe, Joe Bay, and Jason DeLay. Now Bay, he could also be in that top five. They just have him at the bottom of the lineup to try to flip the lineup. And as I said before, Jason DeLay is definitely, in my opinion, I haven't seen enough of both these guys. All I know is Austin Hedges was 0-4 in that first series. If you go to his box score right now, it's zeros the whole way across against the Reds. I wasn't digging that. This fella comes in the other day, hits a home run in his first bat or in his first game. So I'm digging that. So what this end of the lineup between Connor Joe and Jason DeLay, I guess those would be your weakest spots in the lineup. But still, with all things considered, I like the DH. I like the DH. Do you like the DH, Mike?
I don't.
No? What about you, Derby?
I'm a purist when it comes to pitchers batting. I love watching them struggle. I love it. I love watching them struggle.
What about you, Derpy? Are you a fan of the DH?
50-50.
Okay. See, I like the DH.
Because McCutchen's old. He's not,
right.
Same
he can
guy,
be effective
same guy,
on this team now.
But he's probably like a role, because you know how I'm a Guardians fan. Basically, he's in a role where he's in the situation when 2013 with Tomey.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to have a guy like that on the team. You know what I mean?
It doesn't.
These guys are older, but it's okay because if anything, they're just going up to hit the ball 3 times, 4 times a game. I like it, guys. I do. I like the DH, and here's the reason why I like the DH. I like Mike. Traditionally, we've been a National League team my whole life, so I've been watching pitchers strike out many times throughout my whole life, and I think that you could do without that. It's almost. The percentage is so high that it's going to be an automatic out. Of course, that's not always, but the percentage is high. I always felt that it was kind of a waste of an out, and if I thought that I would have liked to try what the American League did with the DH, and now that we tried it, I like it. So I'm down with that. Hopefully, this team right here, these 9 players plus Rich Hill on the hill, could bring it together today at 4-12 and make this team 5-2. And like I said, at the end of the day, depending on what Milwaukee does, we could be sitting in first place after 7 games, but again, we're usually 30 games out of first place 6 games into the year. So that gives you an idea of where we're at there.
81-81, here we come.
You know what? And the thing is, I wouldn't be happy with 81-81, but I would certainly be more happy with 81-81 than I would be with 100 losses. You know what I mean? I would like them to do better. I would like them to make a push. I would like them for their name to be mentioned at the end of the season when it's talking about playoff time and having your team so many games out, whatever. That is much better to me than having back-to-back 100 season losses. No, it's not acceptable to finish under 500, but again, we've done so poorly in the past. 500 season would feel like a victory, which that's getting old in Pittsburgh, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. We have shirts over on our website that actually stem from that whole situation.
Get your Bob Nothing t-shirt, get your Bob Nothing coffee mug, get your Bob Nothing magnet over at twodumbyinzers.com. Click on the merchandise store.
There you go. Everybody go check that out. But that is the, like I said, that is a different story for a whole nother day. Today is all about excitement. Today is about all new beginnings. Today is about the Pittsburgh Pirates starting the season at home with their home opener against the White Sox, 4/12 today, everybody.
Gentlemen, I'll be pumped about the Pirates if they're still in contention at the All-Star break, at the trade deadline, and if they make positive moves. That is when I will get my optimism up. Right now, I am staying flat and even. I'm not getting too high. I'm not getting too low. Because that's historically, that's when the season tends to fall apart.
Absolutely.
If they're doing anything, and if they make moves or not, after the All-Star break and the trade deadline, that's when the season comes off the rails.
And the way my memory serves me, it's a lot of fun when you get to that point if you're still in contention, because as Mike said, you're looking around now at the other guys that are looking to move. Mm-hmm. They got, good players that are sitting on teams that aren't going to the playoffs. You have a chance to, nab these guys, sweep them up, put them in your lineup, plug them in and try to make your team better. That is so much fun. I really regret that we miss out on that for decades now. But those 3 years when we had the run 10 years ago, it was a lot of fun. I could get into that again, whether it happens or whether it doesn't. I don't know. That still there's a lot of baseball left, but I would love to have that going on here in Pittsburgh again. It does good for a lot of things. Of course, makes money for the city, vendors, businesses, things like that. That's always a plus. But for the sports part of it, I really enjoy that, Mike. And as you said, the trade deadline after the All-Star break, you feel, and here's another thing too that I noticed in those 3 seasons, guys. When you're making that final push to the last month of the season, a lot of those teams that are out of it, they don't care anymore. They play like the Pirates. You know what I mean? Because they're done. A lot of these guys, they're done. They don't want to go out and, give it their all. They you're out of a playoff spot. I noticed that when we were playing, there was a lot of teams that could have gave us a run for our money, but we would end up sweeping them in that last season, or we would end up embarrassing them. I just think that, like I said, once you're out of contention, especially after you played for 6 months in 90-degree weather, a lot of these teams, they kind of give up. They throw in a towel. And like I said, we could understand it from this side of the fence because we've seen the Pirates do that. So that's a lot of fun. If you get to that point, you start winning more games that maybe you shouldn't have won. I dig. Let's go Bucks. Come on. Let's win today. Move to 5-2. Everybody will be happy except for Derpy.
Except for Derpy. I don't trust him. I don't trust him when it comes
to actually, I will be if you beat him. Because it's the
White Sox. Because that'll help you out in the division.
That'll help you out. Yeah. So let's go White Sox.
Yeah. Pitt women's basketball team, they hired a new head coach today. Of course, their former head coach just got fired about a month ago. They hired Tony Verdi. Mike, he is the 10th head coach in Pitt women's basketball history. He'll be taking over next year. See if he can get that Pitt women's team turned around. If everything is turning around for Pitt sports except for that women's basketball team. They are sitting.
We'll see if it happens. We'll see if it happens.
Well, here's something that's interesting. Pitt sits at 22 in the L Directors Cup winner standings, and that's I don't know nothing about this. I'm pulling this up off the Pitt website this morning, and they have 469 points, which is so far the most in department history. And from what I gather, it's just by the performance of all the teams and all the things that, the sports that's gone on with your wrestling, your volleyball, your basketball, all this stuff. We're sitting at 22 in the country, which we've never been to that point this season. So as we stated before, Pitt is making some positive moves to be a more prominent school in Division I and especially in the ACC. But that might, hopefully the turning of everybody else in the school can rub off a little bit. Maybe we'll rub off on the women's basketball team.
It'll be nice. It's always nice to see the local sports teams do well, even though it is
absolutely.
Pitt. And I'm not a big Pitt guy, but go for them.
You know what I figured out about you two? Here's the problem. I know what's wrong with you two.
I'm negative.
Well, no. Yeah. You're both Big Ten guys.
Yeah.
You like Penn State. He likes Ohio State. So someday we're just gonna have to let you two go at it with some kind of Big Ten battle because.
Fine, we'll do it when they play Penn State in football.
No, we will not, because you will not be on the show because Penn State's going to lose, and I'm not going to deal with you for 2 weeks. Hey, are you that guy that hears OH goes IO?
Yes.
Congratulations.
No, I say OH.
You guys can spell a four-letter word. That's all I can think of. This is the Ohio. This is the best we can do. This is why I hate Ohio.
Penn State is their students. That's it.
Hell yeah, student section is legit out there.
Yeah, that's their best thing. That's what they're known for.
And linebackers, baby,
linebackers.
So sit down.
And child molesters.
Hey, Ohio State has one.
Actually,
well, yeah, Jim Jordan, he knew about it and just turned a blind eye to it. As the doctor was molesting all their athletes. Yeah.
And who are these athletes that let people molest them?
Hey, you're afraid to speak up. You might lose your spot.
I would lose everything. If somebody was touching my willy, I would not only speak up, I would whoop their ass, man. You know, these are grown people.
Hey, you never know. Right? You don't know until you're in that situation. So, but
well,
let's move on to more positive things. I did not mean to bring us down here.
But here's the thing, you know what I'm saying? If you're worried about losing your scholarship, I would think that you have the hand, because you know a bad thing is happening to you. So why would you be worried?
Who are they going to believe, though? The guy who's been there forever, or it
wasn't like a lot of athletes that got touched by these guys. I mean, somebody, at some point, it's got to be, they got to say, hey, wait a minute, it's more than one weird guy saying that he's been touched. It's everybody, or it's a whole bunch of people.
They did it, and they just turned a blind eye towards it.
See, I hate that.
They turned a blind eye.
That sucks. That's terrible.
Yeah, when you turn to But anyway, what's more positive things? Derby brought us down by talking about Ohio State.
I'm going to talk about a little football. Football, we got the XFL is kicking off week 8 this weekend, guys. The XFL season's almost over. It's a 10-week season.
Oh,
and then they got the one round of playoffs, and then it goes into the championship. So I mean, here in a month, this is going to be done. The week 8 starts off on Saturday at 1:00 between the Vegas Vipers, who are sitting at 2-5. They're traveling to St. Louis to play the Battlehawks, who are sitting at 5-2. The game later on that day at 4:00 is two pretty bad teams. Arlington is traveling to Orlando. Arlington sitting at 3-4. Orlando sitting at 1-6. And then on Sunday, the last game's a good one. This game, not so much, but the Houston Roughnecks sitting at 4-3. They're playing the San Antonio Brahmas, who is of course coached by Hines Ward. Only has his team sitting at 2-5. I don't think that should be that great of a game. But this one, guys, this game here, DC Defenders at 6-1, traveling to Seattle to play the Ben DiNucci and the 5-2 Seattle Sea Dragons. Like, this team here, this is going to make a good football game. I've seen the Seattle Sea Dragons really turn it around this year. And they really made a push. And now here they are. They're one game behind DC in the division. And if they win this game, they will be in first place because they'll tie them in record and they'll have the head-to-head tiebreaker. Yeah. This Seattle team, they're legit. Early on in the season, I don't remember what they started off, but it wasn't real great. But as you recall, we talked a lot about DC and a lot about Houston. This Seattle team right here is the team to watch for, I think, in my opinion. Again, and still as of last week, as when I watched the game, Ben DiNucci still leads the XFL in passing yards. Josh Cribbs, they got a lot of good things going on over there. And Jim Haslett, also another Pittsburgh Steeler name that you remember as a short-term defensive coordinator, I do believe.
Yeah, for like a season or two, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got a lot going on. If you want to enjoy some good football, especially now it's getting late in the season, you're going to start seeing these better teams play one another. And as I said, in 2 weeks, they're going to be head-to-head for some playoffs. So, XFL, guys, season 3.0, almost in the books.
Well,
the late game tomorrow between DC and Seattle is at 7 or Sundays at 7:00. So, if you want to watch good football, Sunday evening, 7:00, DC, Seattle, that's going to be the best game of the week.
Yeah. Seattle's on a 5-game winning streak.
Yes.
Yeah, they started out 0-2, and the Defenders, they're on that 1-game losing streak.
Yes.
Yeah. And they had their they finally lost.
They finally looked human.
Yeah.
Because not only did they lose, they lost to Orlando.
Yeah. It's not good. The 1-6 team, you had the best and the worst team.
Yeah.
And that's usually how you lose. You're this far into the season and out of nowhere. I
It's not
wondered
because that team's better than you. It's just because it's a psychological thing. You've already won a bunch. These guys ain't won at all. We're not, you don't. It's psychological.
I wonder, since DC lost last week, there would be no undefeated team. Did the 72 Dolphins break out the champagne? Mercury Morris is no longer around to keep that tradition alive. I wonder if anyone else stepped
I think they do in
and,
every sport. Every time in any major pro sport in America, when the last team that was undefeated loses, I think the Dolphins celebrate. And then finally, also next Sunday, Mike, this time next week, we'll be talking about the Pittsburgh Maulers and the New Orleans, whatever the hell they are. They're going to be playing.
We don't care who New Orleans is.
We don't even care because they're not even playing in their own city. They're playing in Alabama, the same place that every team played last year. That's their home field this year. The Maulers will be down there next Sunday, guys. Next Sunday. Then the following week, the Maulers will be coming home. So that season's almost underway. XFL is heading into the playoffs, and then of course that we have the draft at the end of the month. So if you like your football, you gotta like everything that's going on with these sub leagues and things like that. It's really keeping you involved in football. I've been enjoying it, and I've not really once have felt like I was having my football withdrawals.
Yeah,
which I've had in the past. And you just need it, and there's nothing on. It's on a lot, so it's a lot of fun. That Pittsburgh team, that Maulers team will be a lot of fun also.
I can't wait. God, like you said, man, it's gonna be like football year round.
Yeah, I love it.
Like Pitt's playing, Penn State's practicing already.
Yeah,
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Our receivers and quarterbacks and skill players, they're still playing. They haven't even stopped for the Steelers. You know what? I love Pittsburgh. I love football, man, and I'm just loving it. Also connected to what we're talking about, some of the off-season things going on with the Steelers. The Steelers had four nice visitors stop by the facility yesterday, guys. I want to talk about these guys for a couple minutes. Now, the cornerback out of Oregon, Christian Gonzalez, was in town yesterday.
Yes.
The cornerback out of South Carolina, Darius Rush. The defensive lineman out of Georgia Tech, Keon White. And also the guard from TCU, Steve Avila. They were all in town yesterday. Mike, these are in Derby. These are all guys that you're glad we're talking to. These are all guys that I could see, being Pittsburgh Steelers. However, the one name that's been standing out to me over the past week, and for a few reasons, has been this Kelee Ringo. Now, there's been a lot, and I mean a lot of talk and a lot of interest, and they took him to dinner and probably gave him a hand job. I don't know what's going on, but they love this Kelee Ringo guy. And, here's the thing. I think everybody right now is, of course, they favor picking Joey Porter Jr., not only because he's Joey Porter Jr., but because they don't know much of a lot of other people that are out there. And that's the thing that we get accused of a lot here. Is we want Joey Porter because his dad. Well, yeah, that would be cool. However, the average fan doesn't follow this heavily. Might say, well, what's a Ringo? Who's a Gonzalez? These guys any good? But as I'm learning more about these guys, I don't know, this Kelee Ringo and Christian Gonzalez, they might be better off, but we might be better off picking these guys than Joey Porter Jr. Am I wrong?
Definitely Gonzalez, I think he's the cream of the crop of the cornerbacks. Is he going to be as good as like Sauce Gardner? No, Sauce Gardner's he's
not many people are,
Yeah, to me, he's like a Rod Woodson, Deion Sanders, generational cornerback.
Right.
He was that good out the gate. Gonzalez, I think, will be like that class below, to where he's going to be a day one starter. Ringo's going to take a while to develop, a year or two to develop, but I think overall he has more athletic upside than Porter. Porter's
That's what I'm
solid.
Hearing, yes.
Yeah, Joey Porter's solid. I would have no problem taking Porter in the first round. Because like I said yesterday, Purdue targeted him 14 times that first game, and the rest of the opponents only threw at him 16 times. So they were afraid to throw to him. That's good. You like that. But like Ringo in the long term might end up being better than Joey Porter if he develops properly. Because he flashed onto the scene his first year. And like everyone thought this kid was going to be a top 10 pick, and his play kind of dropped off.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt and the play dropped off. So it was like, who are you
But
getting?
he
He showed up in the championship game. He got beat and against Ohio State, but he also made some good plays against those receivers at Ohio State. That's what happens when you have top talent against top talent. You know, someone's going to win one round, you're going to win the next.
Oh, absolutely.
And he ended up playing better as that game went on. He played better. He lights out in the championship game. So if they take him in the first, I don't think it's a good pick. I think it's too much.
I'd rather see him at 32.
Yeah,
32.
Yeah, right now he's projected as a third round pick, so they might even be able to get him at 49. And I wouldn't mind taking him. I wouldn't mind taking him in the
offensive tackle or take somebody of that nature in the first round, and then still get a Keely Ringo when you're in round 2 or round 3. That's not bad, and I'm starting to realize that. And as I'm digging more and getting ready for next week, we're going to be, like I said, getting heavier in the draft talk and coverage. I'm seeing that these guys are, could be just as effective as Joey Porter. It seems to me that Joey Porter, he's a plug and play. You could get him in the lineup. You could have him playing a lot next year and being very effective. But on the other hand, if you get your offensive lineman that you need ever so desperately to watch your quarterbacks back and to make holes for your skill players, and you have to get that guy first, somebody like Ringo or Gonzalez or one of these names that aren't Joey Porter aren't that bad. So we really can't. I mean, these are all 3 picks in the top 50 is a pretty damn good situation to be in, and I think that's what it boils down to, because we're able to get 3 of the 50 best players coming out of the draft.
You're hoping you can get 3 of the 50 best. And if we don't get Porter in the first round, you say we go tackle, or they're like, real quick, so we're probably going to talk about these guys in the next couple of weeks. There's like people like Emmanuel Forbes, Cam Smith, Tyreek Stevenson, Julius Brent, who's someone else who they brought in. Those guys they can get them in the second round, third round. So you don't have to go corner in round 1. Would I love to see Joey Porter Jr. here? Yes, I would, because I watched him play at Penn State and I thought he played really well. But all these other corners, the more I'm watching, the more I'm reading, I would be comfortable with them as well.
Right.
It's a deep cornerback is deep this year, really deep. So you don't have to get one in the first round. So if they do go tackle or even guard in the first round, beef up the O line, or they beef up the D line, that's fine, because there's going to be a corner sitting there at 32, like Durkee said, or even at 49. You can pick one of these guys.
Yeah, because like you said, with it being so deep, even if you do wait to 32, even 49, you can still possibly get one of the better cornerbacks coming out of the draft, because there is so much talent coming out. A couple of things I do want to touch, Mike, before we go. We a couple rumors that happens that just so happened to come up. Here's one for you: the Ravens possibly preparing to trade Lamar to the Colts so they could pursue Anthony Richardson.
Ooh,
that's an interesting idea.
That is, God,
the Colts might just be dumb enough to fall into this with the spider web with Lamar.
And that's what that's the one team I told you who'd watch out for if they did make a move with, because they have that pick.
Getting Anthony Richardson, I mean, they're basically going to they'll upgrade over Tyler Huntley for sure.
Upgrade over Huntley. Upgrade over Tyler Huntley.
Yes, Huntley. Yeah.
But you're also going to get some of the skill back, with these kind of quarterbacks that you like, these athletic quarterbacks with an Anthony Richardson. Again, I don't know if this is just rumor. I don't know if this is seriously something that's going on. I just read this morning, but Lamar to the Colts.
I like that.
Not bad. You're right. If you're a Ravens fan, you gotta love that idea.
That would help out both teams. That would help literally both teams. Because even sitting there where the Colts pick, you can get Anthony Richards. You probably even maybe CJ Stroud falls or Will Levis falls. You take one of those. You're going to get one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the.
Yes.
Well, yeah. It's a good move. Good move.
It doesn't seem like they want a Levis. It seems like they want.
Yeah, they want
a Stroud or they want a Richardson. They want one of these athletic guys that could run and move around a lot. Which is understandable. Right. That's what the Ravens. Do it because I want to go up against a rookie quarterback. I want the quarterbacks to get weaker in the division. Right.
Joe Burrow, you take some time off of football, man. Explore a passion other than football.
All you have to do is
you got all the time in the world to play football. Take some time off, buddy.
We learned anything from Kimo von Oelhoffen. We could make this happen.
I wasn't going to go that route. I wasn't going to go. Let's go injure the guy.
It ain't me rolling on the guy's knee. I don't give a shit.
God damn.
Finally, my last on my notes here. A lot of trade rumors swirling, Mike. James Daniels James Daniels.
I saw that.
What's give me the skinny on that?
So like, what I gathered is from the Athletic article where they were talking to like league executives, and they were giving all on source because they don't want to tip their hand too, but they were saying, hey, what we kind of like what the Pittsburgh did in free agency. They're plugging holes so they don't have to reach in the draft, and possibly maybe they're trying to acquire more draft picks, and James Daniels might be available because they signed Samalu, whatever his name is. I can't pronounce it. My bad, big guy. Nasty Nate, who was just going to be a backup, but you also have Kevin Dodson there, and then James Daniels. Who's going to go? And they are assuming Pittsburgh would try and trade Daniels because he has the most value since he was their best player. But for me, I wouldn't trade James Daniels because he was the glue of that offensive line. You have Nasty Nate to back him up, and then Samaleo, he takes over for Kevin Dodson. Then Kevin Dodson and Kendrick Green would be the two that you might move around. They cut Kendrick Green. Dodson, I think Dodson would have value. Teams would value him as if they need O-line help, he can go in and start immediately somewhere. He's not a bad
Dodson
starter.
Will be fine. I think,
but I would like to keep him. I'd just get rid of Kendrick Green and roll with those 4 guards. And
maybe if you package Kendrick Green and with somebody else, you could maybe get a little bit more.
Yeah, but I just don't see it. But it's not coming from Pittsburgh. They're not leaking this information. This is other league executives kind of anticipating, reading the other team's minds of like, hey, this is what they might be doing if we were in that situation. It's kind of what we would do, type of thing, or trying to figure out, okay, historically this is what Pittsburgh does, but new regime, or they're going to try something different. So it's not coming from the Steelers; it's from other league executives.
Okay.
Yeah,
but that
I saw that too, and I was panicking. I was like, what's Omar Khan doing? Then I was like, oh, okay.
I can't express any more about how excited I am and how happy I am with the way that the Khan is handling the offseason. And as you said, they made a lot of moves, kind of filled holes, so they don't have to reach so much, and they kind of have hand in the draft, where a lot of times that's not the case, especially with us. And where a team might be able to just grab somebody from underneath of us, that's not such a bad thing because we've kind of covered our back in a sense. So I think this draft is going to be a very, very good draft for us, Mike. I really do, Derpy. I think this draft is going to be hopefully one of the best ever.
I think it might. Topic for next week, the best draft ever.
All right,
there we go.
But we are at the 2-minute warning, Mike. Why don't you go ahead and give us another one of your shameless plugs?
Oh, shameless plug time. All right. 2dumyinzers.com, the number 2 DUMYINZERS.com. And you people are going because I see it. I see the numbers increasing out of the blue. I like it. I love it. Yeah. So you head on over there. There's links to YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, the merchandise store where you can buy your Bob Nothing paraphernalia. Wear to the best baseball park in America, or proudly.
While you're enjoying that park.
While you're enjoying the park, and hopefully the team on the field. See, we kind of need them to suck to sell this merchandise. So but remember, you can buy your Bob Nothing over at the 2dumyinzers.com. Click on the merchandise, and it'll take you right to where you need to go. You can find all that at 2dumyinzers.com.
There you go, everybody. www.2dumyinzers.com. Go check it out. A lot of cool stuff over there, of course. We are live Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day of every week. And then every show that we do gets uploaded over on Spotify at 8 o'clock in the evening of the same day. So if you want to listen to this show in podcast form later today, it'll be on podcast form on Spotify at 8 o'clock. So check that out.
So do you both say Podbean?
I don't know what the hell I
old
said.
home.
But we got a couple minutes, guys. Ready to do a trivia? This is an opening day trivia, not necessarily Pirates, but it is opening day trivia since it is opening day. Derpy, if you're still awake over there, man, let's do this.
Woo!
All right, here we go. Question of the day: World Series trivia, not opening day. I need this weekend bad.
Yes, you do.
Opening day trivia. Here we go. Who was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch on opening day? Who was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch on opening day? I'll give you guys a little hint. Help you out, because this is not an easy one. If you're not a baseball enthusiast. The year was 1910. Who was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch on opening day? The year was 1910. Derpy, I'm going to come to you first. I think Derpy ran to the bathroom.
I think Derpy ran away.
Mike, I'll come to you first.
1910. Oh my God.
And he wooed too. I thought he was ready for the trivia.
Well, was it who's the person who had the stroke? Was it Wilson? Woodrow Wilson? 1910?
Woodrow Wilson? Is that your final answer?
League of Nations guy? I'm going with Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson. I'll go ahead and lock you in at Woodrow Wilson. All right, there's Derpy. Derpy is back. Derpy, who was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch on opening day? And the hint is, it was in 1910.
I know.
All right. Got an answer. Looking for a president. Mike says Woodrow Wilson.
It's not Wilson.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think Mike just picked him because his name was Woodrow. What a name.
Yeah,
I'd love to be a
I know.
Woodrow.
I'm like 1910.
I'm gonna go the big guy.
Taft.
The big guy, William Taft.
I think. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Is that your final answer, Derpy?
That's my final answer.
Taft is a good one. I think you might be right. I think you are right. I think it is Taft.
All right. So one more time.
Forgot about him.
Trivia of the day. Opening day trivia. Who was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch on opening day? The hint was it was 1910. Mike says Woodrow Wilson. Derpy says William Taft. And the answer is, guys, William Taft. William Taft was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch on opening day. So there you have it. 113 years ago. 113 years ago.
When did Wilson serve?
It was in the same time because as I was digging this question up, it was multiple choice and Wilson was one of the other answers. So I have a feeling it's all kind of somewhere back, around that time. Obviously, way before all of us, 113 years. But
sheesh.
Yeah, crazy.
He was president in 1913.
Yeah,
21. Because I knew it was like he served it through World War I, and I'm like, okay, how early, how late? Damn it.
All right, we'll put that on our geography civics.
And you just went with Taft because he was from Ohio.
And there you go. But hey, everybody, we do appreciate everybody. We hope that you continue to keep checking us out. We have lots of good things going on. The Penguins do play tomorrow. They play a must-win game against Detroit. It's about as much must-win as you could get.
Yes.
If they lose, I mean, it's not technically over, but it's getting really close. So this is a must-win. 1 o'clock against Detroit. You got a bunch of XFL coming up. This is all week 8. Is all through the week or through the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. 1 week away from the Maulers. And of course, the big home opener today, guys, the big story. Everybody in Pittsburgh is fired up. Get down to the stadium. If you're not at the stadium, just get downtown and have some fun. 4-1-2 at 4:12 today. The Pittsburgh Pirates open up against the Chicago White Sox, and it is a blackout. So, as I said, if you could get down early enough, go down, have yourself a good time, and cheer on the battling Buccos, guys. We want to raise that Jolly Roger one more time before we hit the weekend. Get us at maybe get us in first place.
Yes.
Derpy. No, Mike, what give me some words of wisdom to send us into the weekend.
Root for your local pro sports team, no matter which sport. Don't be a homer just for that team. Root for all 3 pro sports teams equally. So saying that, let's go Bucks. Makes my skin crawl, but let's go Bucks.
That's how I've lived my whole life. I have no problem doing this.
Yes.
Derpy, what about yourself?
The Pirates and the Guardians are winning their divisions.
Pirates, Guardians, not only their divisions, Pirates,
take.
Guardians would be an amazing World Series as well. You could
Exactly.
travel up and down, up and down, up and down, and catch all 7 games of that if it came down to it. Again, hey, it's a push, but a lot of baseball season left. Who knows? Maybe the other 28 teams could all, get killed in airplane crashes, right? Who knows?
Oh, Jesus.
To end the week
God.
off good.
That was out of nowhere.
All right. But
Right?
anyway, hopefully that don't happen. But end of the year, Pirates, Guardians, let's see. We'll see if that happens. But we do want to thank you one more time for checking us out this week. We appreciate every one of you. Enjoy your weekend. It's supposed to be a little chilly, but you know what? Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
See ya.